Good afternoon. So as you know, we have completed our syllabus. So we are discussing the different chapters. Today I will discuss a sample question paper. Okay, I will ask you some MCQ type of question first, and after that some short type of question, some large type of question. What type of questions may come in your examination, I will discuss about all those. Okay, so first of all I will discuss about some MCQ question. So I will ask you the question, you have to tell me the answer. Okay, so first question is, in an experiment it was found that, I don't know, you will get all the information when everything will be decided. Okay, so if your school open, then it will be surely it will be offline. So first question is, in an experiment it was found that adenine constitutes 31% and guanine 19%. The quantity of cytosine in this DNA is likely to be option A 19%, option B 40%, option C 31%, and option D 69%. I am repeating the question again. In an experiment it was found that adenine constitutes 31% and guanine 19%. The quantity of cytosine in this DNA is likely to be option A 19%, option B 40%, option C 31%, and option D 69%. So what will be the answer? As you know that A pairs with T, that means adenine pairs with T, and C pairs with G, that means guanine pairs with cytosine. So if the amount of guanine in this experiment is 19%, so what will be the quantity of cytosine? Cytosine will pair with G. So if 19% guanine is present, so the answer will be, in case of cytosine, it will also will be 19%. So the answer is option A 19%. Now, so these type of questions, problems may be asked in your short type of question. Now next question, two common characters found in centipede, cockroach and crab are. Two common characters found in centipede, cockroach and crab are. Option A, jointed legs and chitinous exoskeleton. Option B, green glands and trachea. Option C, book lungs and antennae. And option D, compound eyes and anal cerci. I am repeating the question. Two common characters found in centipede, cockroach and crab are. Option A, jointed legs and chitinous exoskeleton. Option B, green glands and trachea. Option C, book lungs and antennae. And option D, compound eyes and anal cerci. Can you tell me which one will be the perfect answer? The answer is jointed legs and chitinous exoskeleton. The answer is, because this is the common character in case of arthropoda, so this answer, option number A, will be the correct answer. Next question, a list of animals is given below. Identify the animals with open circulatory system and choose the correct answer. Let me repeat. A list of animals is given below. Identify the animals with open circulatory system and choose the correct answer. Option A, squid. Option B, cockroach. 1 squid, 2 cockroach, 3 earthworm, 4 prawn. Option number A is 1 and 3. Option number B is 2 and 4. Option number C is 2 and 3. And option number D is 3 and 4. I am repeating. A list of animals is given below. Identify the animals with open circulatory system and choose the correct answer. 1 squid, 2 cockroach, 3 earthworm, 4 prawn. Option A 1 and 3, option B 2 and 4, option C 2 and 3, and option D 3 and 4. So the correct answer is option C, that means 2 common characters found in centipede, cockroach and sorry, this one is not. Our correct answer is option B, that is 2 and 4, that means earthworm and prawn, because the animals with open circulatory system are cockroach and prawn. Cockroach and prawn. Every time I am reading the wrong option. Okay, so that is option 2 and 4, that is answer is B, because in cockroach and prawn open type of circulatory system can be found. Now I will discuss, so these type of questions can be asked in section A and different type of 2 marks question asked in next section. That is, one type of question is, if the substrate used during respiration process is a carbohydrate, what will be its RQ value? If you want, you can write down this type of questions in your copy, so that you will get an idea about different type of question for your final examination. Okay, so the question is, if the substrate used during respiratory process is a carbohydrate, what will be its RQ value? So how we can define or we can measure the RQ value? RQ value is having a formula. RQ is the volume of CO2 evolved by volume of O2 absorbed. Okay, so in case of carbohydrate, you know the formula, and the RQ value will be 6 CO2 by 6 O2 is equal to 1. Okay, so the answer is 1. Now I will read a question. Listen very carefully. Earlier classification systems classified bacteria, blue-green algae, fungi, mosses, ferns, gymnosperms and angiosperms under plants on the basis of the presence of cell wall. However, in 1969, R.H. Whittaker proposed 5-kingdom classification, where he named Monera, Protista, fungi, plantae and animalia as the 5 kingdoms. Evaluate the main criteria behind the classification system put forth by R.H. Whittaker. Let me repeat the question again. You have to understand the question first, then you have to try to answer. The question is, earlier classification system classified bacteria, blue-green algae, fungi, mosses, ferns, gymnosperms and angiosperms under plants on the basis of their presence of cell wall. However, in 1969, R.H. Whittaker proposed 5-kingdom classification, where he named Monera, Protista, fungi, plantae and animalia as the 5 kingdoms. Evaluate the main criteria behind the classification system put forth by R.H. Whittaker. Okay, so previously these were classified on the basis of presence or absence of cell wall, but in the modern studies we come to know about the R.H. Whittaker. He has named he has found a 5 kingdom classification, and the name was Monera protista fungi plantae animalia. And now the question is, on which basis and or the which on which depending on which criteria this classification system has been done. Okay, so the main criteria used by Whittaker for this classification of organisms into 5 kingdom includes: first one is cell structure, thallus organization, mode of nutrition, reproduction, and phylogenetic relationship. Okay, let me repeat: cell structure, mode of nutrition, reproduction, phylogenetic relationship. Okay, so on the basis of these criteria, Whittaker has put together organisms which in earlier classifications were placed under different kingdoms. Okay. Now come to the next question. What is phyllotaxy? Mention its type. Define any 2 types of phyllotaxy. Phyllotaxy is in your syllabus, so this type of flat question may also be asked. I am repeating. What is phyllotaxy? Mention its types and define any 2 types of phyllotaxy. Now next question. So what is phyllotaxy? Phyllotaxy is the arrangement of leaves on the stem or branch of in a plant. Phyllotaxy is the arrangement of leaves on the stem or branch of the stem. It is of mainly 3 types: alternate, opposite, and whorled. Alternate, China rose; opposite, Calotropis; and whorled, Estonia. Okay. So, in alternate phyllotaxy, a single leaf arises at each node in an alternate manner. In whorled phyllotaxy, more than 2 leaves arise at a node and form a whorl. Okay, so this is the answer for the question: what is phyllotaxy? Mention its type and define any 2 types of phyllotaxy. Next question. If a cell having 32 chromosomes undergoes mitotic division, what will be the chromosome numbers during metaphase? What would be the DNA content during anaphase? Let me repeat. The next question is, if a cell having 32 chromosomes undergoes mitotic division. If a cell having 32 chromosomes undergo mitotic division, what will be the chromosome numbers? What will be the chromosome numbers in during metaphase? And with that, another question is there: what would be the DNA content during anaphase? So the answer of the first question is, mitotic cell division occur in somatic cells of an organism, and the chromosome number in the daughter cells remains same at that of the parent cell. So even at metaphase or anaphase, the chromosome number does not change. The number of chromosome during metaphase will be 32. Okay. And the DNA content is double at the synthetic phase or interphase and gets divided at anaphase. So the DNA content during anaphase will be the same as in parent cell. Okay, so this is the answer for this particular question. Now come to the next question. Different type of diagram and graph based question will be asked in your final examination. Like we will provide you a diagram, okay, and we will mark this diagram like A, B, C, D, and we may ask you that what A indicate, what B indicate, or what C indicate. Okay, this type of questions may be asked, or from different type of diagrams can be given, and from these diagrams questions may be asked also. Okay. Now come to the next question. Explain why the spread of living pteridophytes is limited and restricted to narrow geographical regions. Next question, explain why spread of living pteridophytes is limited and restricted to nearby geographical regions. And with that another question is there, both gymnosperms and angiosperms bear seeds, but why are they classified separately? Both gymnosperms and angiosperms bear seeds, but why are they classified separately? Okay. So the answer is the spread of living pteridophytes is limited and restricted to narrow geographical regions because of the following reasons. The first reason is that the gametophyte or prothallus in pteridophytes requires a cool, damp and shady place to grow. Second point is to facilitate fertilization, water is required as a medium for the transport of male gametes to the female gametes. Next, moreover, these plants produce spores which also require water for generations. Thus, the requirement of water for most of their processes restricts the spread. Okay. And another question was there, both gymnosperms and angiosperms bear seeds, but why are they classified separately? So the answer is there are also some reasons. For these reasons, both gymnosperms and angiosperms are grouped separately. First reason is ovules in gymnosperms are naked, but in angiosperm they are enclosed within the ovary. In the angiosperm, the ovules are enclosed within the ovary, but in case of gymnosperm, ovules are naked. Next one is wood is non-porous in gymnosperm, that is vessels are absent in xylem, and wood in angiosperm is porous, that is vessels are present. Okay. So these two are main 2 points which will support the answer for this particular question. Now next question. Interphase is also known as entry phase of a cell. Justify the statement. Interphase is also known as the energy phase of a cell. Justify the statement. Think everyone, what will be the answer for this particular question? So let me repeat. Interphase is also known as energy phase of cell. Interphase is also considered as energy phase of the cell. Justify the statement. So what will be the answer? That interphase stage of the cell cycle is also called energy phase because it carries on performing many vital processes or activities to facilitate further cell division, and it is therefore also considered as the most active phase of cycle. The interphase is avoided into 3 points, and interphase can be divided into 3: G1 phase, S phase and G2 phase, and different events are occurring in these 3 phases, as you can remember when I have discussed all these in details. So in the G1 phase, the cell carries out its metabolic activities, duplication and synthesis of organisms and metabolites. In the S1 phase, DNA replication takes place, and in the G2 phase, growth of cell and preparation for cell division takes place. Synthesis of RNAs and G2 phase in this synthesis of RNAs and proteins associated with it are also continue to occur. So these are the main functions of different phases of interphase, and that was the main reason why for this it was considered as energy phase of a cell. Next question. Columnar or cuboidal cells bearing cilia on their free surface are called ciliated epithelium. They help in the movement of particles or mucus in a specific direction over the epithelium. The epithelium lies over a basement membrane. The number of cilia varies in different cellular forms. Reconcile the above given facts to explain the functions performed by these particular epithelium in number 1 oviducts, number 2 respiratory duct, and number 3 nervous system. Let me repeat the question. Columnar or cuboidal cells bearing cilia on their free surface are called ciliated epithelium. They help in the movement of particles, mucus in a specific direction over the epithelium. The epithelium lies over a basement membrane. The base member of cilia varies in different cellular forms. Reconcile the above given facts to explain the function performed by this particular epithelium in 1 oviduct, 2 respiratory tract, and 3 nervous system. So, what will be the answer? Ciliated epithelium maintains a flow of mucus, liquid, and suspended particles or bodies constantly in one direction. So, in option number 1 was oviduct. So, in the oviduct, cilia can help in the movement of egg towards the uterus. Okay, it is helping in the movement of egg towards the uterus. Next, in the respiratory tract, cilia help to push mucus towards the pharynx. Okay, in respiratory tract, cilia help to push mucus towards the pharynx. Now the last one was the nervous system. That was in the nervous system, cilia of the ventricles of the brain and central canal of the spinal cord help in the circulation of the cerebrospinal fluid. Okay, so these are the different roles in these three different systems. Now from excretory system, one more important question is JGA operates a multi-hormonal RAAS, that is renin angiotensin aldosterone system. Explain the role played by renin angiotensin in the synthesis on the regulation of kidney function. This part has been discussed in the theory portion and this will be quite large, so you have to mention the answer with the RAAS system. Okay. Now the last question for today, that is most of the chemical reactions do not start automatically due to the presence of an energy barrier of the reactant molecules. Use the concept of activation energy to explain how can a reaction be made to proceed forward and form the required products. Okay, these last two questions are your homework. You have to practice it, as these are the different flat type of questions that already we have discussed in the theory classes when we are discussing the chapter. Okay, so we have discussed 3 mark up to the 3 mark questions today. In my next class I will discuss about the more 3 marks question and some 5 marks question and some assertion type of question also. Okay, so for today that's it. Thank you and bye bye.